Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lead us from unreality to the reality, ignorance to the knowledge, and from death to immortality. Om Peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, some of you are regular and maybe one or two are new. So as you know, probably we are discussing the text called Sadhana Panchakam. Sadhana means practice, spiritual practice here, and Panchakam is 5. So this is been written or composed by Adi Shankaracharya, the great philosopher of the non-dualism Advaita Vedanta. So he has written or he has composed 5 verses. Each verse contains 4 lines, and each line contains 2 spiritual practices. So roughly like in the 5 verses, around 40 different type of spiritual practices he has he has discussed or he has described or he has enlisted basically. Now, each one is well connected, and either you take 1 or 2 or few of them, and if you put into practice, then you will be a fit person to study Vedanta and to experience the either God or divine or self. So practice makes man perfect. We keep on telling that. Now, well, for 30 years I did meditation. Why I didn't get apt in or established in meditation, established in concentration? Then just I would like to say, perfect practice makes man perfect. What do you mean by perfect practice? Means in and around the practice, there are so many things involved actually. For example, meditation. I would like to do meditation, and when we try to sit for a meditation, and all our universal problem is, oh, Swamiji, we're not able to concentrate. Our mind is not steady. Our mind goes well too. It travels faster than even the light. Why is it? It is the nature of the mind. The restlessness is the nature of the mind. Then how to arrest it? Then there are preparations. Say, for example, at least before sitting meditation, 10 or 15, 30 minutes, we should either listen to a good bhajans, good music, read some, good book, some teachings, or a good study. And then when you sit and with a, uh, uh, self-suggestions, auto-suggestions to your mind, then you'll be able to do, to a certain extent, a good quality of meditation. So these are the few steps which we have to practice to larger time till we established in meditation. But unfortunately, we don't follow all these steps, and that's where we are not able to establish in the meditation. So similarly, we know what is right. We know what is wrong, but we are not able to practice right. We are not able to leave away, give away wrong things or smaller things or whatever. Why? Because our mind is not under our control. We are not able to streamline our thinking. Why? Because of the lack of practice, lack of disciplines. The more and more we practice spiritual disciplines, mental disciplines, which is called yama, niyama in the yoga, and in the Vedanta, shama and dhamma, that is control of mind and control of senses. Until otherwise we do, we can't establish in the meditation, we can't establish in the self-realization or God realization. For that, Adi Shankaracharya, he has given quite a good number of spiritual practices so that the spiritual aspirants can pick up few practices, and if he can do it, then he will get established in the spiritual life, and he will be able to experience the divine, and he will experience the self. Now, obviously the question may come, by experiencing, what do I get? Your life will be fulfilled. Contentment. See, when we are small, we are probably will be trying for some, maybe when we are small, we would like to aspire for chocolate or doll. Then when you grow, then probably vehicle and maybe degree. Then you go for a job, Then afterwards, family, kith and kin and all. After some time, when we get all these things, then what next? If the question comes, we don't have answer. And many times we have got everything and we are happy, we are okay, but we don't feel we are complete. Something is lagging. Something is lacking. Why? Because there is no complete contentment. Because we are searching the contentment in people or in the things always, and we feel that there's a contentment in them, and after getting them, it is not so. Just like Apple phone. When most of us, we desire for Apple phone, iPhone. When we get it, we feel the heaven is in our hands. Yes, we took the photos and selfies, upload in a social media or whatever. Then after a few days, then there's a phone. The same amount of happiness when I had the iPhone the first day, and after the 10th day or 20th day, the same happiness I don't get from the iPhone. It becomes just a mere necessity. So the contentment doesn't really comes from all of them. The contentment is an inside, and I am superimposing the contentment in the things, and I am thinking that that particular thing gives contentment or happiness. For example, chocolate, dark chocolate. I like dark chocolate. So if anyone gives dark chocolate, I say, thank you, it is so nice. Then someone of you may not like chocolate at all, or not even dark chocolate. Dark chocolate, how do you enjoy, Swamiji? Now, whether the joys in dark chocolate are in my mind. If the joys in dark chocolate, all of us should have got it, joy. Only I am getting, a few of us we are getting, and few of us are not. Why? Because I am superimposing the happiness in the dark chocolate. When I consume dark chocolate, I feel I am happy. But the happiness is not in dark chocolate. Happiness is in my mind or in my thinking. This is a simple phenomena, but it is the hardcore, it is the real fact of our life. We have to think and we have to practice. So the contentment is inside or in the God, in the self. The more and more we understand, and the more and more we can live the life of contentment. We need power position, we need money, we need cloth, we need house, we need so many social status, all these things. They are the part and parcel of life, no doubt, but that is not the alpha and omega of the life. There are necessities, no doubt, but the real necessity is what? Is establishing in oneself. Either you can say God or you can say self. For that, the Adi Shankaracharya has given a number of practices, around 32 or 33 we have discussed. Now, the last verse, the 5th verse, we will be taking today for discussion. And here he is giving eight different spiritual practices. Ekante sukhamasyatam paratare chetas samadhiyatam purnatma susamishyatam jagadidam tad bhaditam drushyatam prakarma pravilipyatam chitabalat naputarai shlishnatam parabdim tviha bujyatamata parabrahmatmana stiyata. The overall meaning goes like this. I will tell, and afterwards, line by line, we will discuss, don't worry. In solitude, live joyously. Quieten your mind in the Supreme Lord. Realize and see that all-pervading self everywhere. Recognize that the finite universe is projection of one's own self. Conquer the effects of the deeds done in earlier lives by the present right action. Through wisdom, become detached from future actions. Experience and exhaust the prarabdha karma, the fruits of past actions. Thereafter, live absorbed in the bhava, I am Brahman, I am that consciousness. So this whole sadhana panchakam is for what? This is for parabrahmatmana stiyata. Get established yourself in the self, in the supreme self or in the self. This is what the the goal and the aim of the Vedanta. Now, the 33rd spiritual practice. Ekante sukamasyata. Try live joyously in solitude. Interesting point it is. Enjoy the solitude, basically. Enjoy the solitude, how, Swamiji? Recently, they're aged, probably 60 plus. A couple had come because their children are here, so they came. And after a week or so, they came here to visit a Vedanta center. Then I was just inquiring 2-3 months before. It was summer, of course. Then I asked, how are you feeling, the Ireland? Swamiji, Ireland is so good. so neat, so clean, but it is boring. I said, neat, clean, yes, hygienic, people are nice, no doubt, but it is boring. I mean, I could understand very clearly. Then just but to make it more clear, I asked, what do you mean by boring? So Amji, here people, we don't see people to talk. In India, we see anywhere because of the population or whatever. We have so many people, we can talk, we can discuss, we can chat, gossip. But here, getting people is a very big thing or a very challenging. Maybe weekends, even our own people, we don't get here. So it is very boring. Now you see, so they, because of the lack of people, if they have got all the best arrangements here, the children have provided here in the house, but still they feel bored. So most of us, we can't live alone. Lonely, though we all feel that, I am tired with this hustle bustle of life. I want to live happily. Let me go to the forest or let me go to somewhere and let me live happily. We think for some time, okay, but for a long time, we can't really enjoy, we can't really enjoy the solitude. Before coming here, I was in Mysore, India, southern part of India, where there it is called BH College, Teachers Training College. That is 74 acres land. There's 74 acres land and there's a one huge building. And in the vacation, in the holidays, all the students would have gone. So we 2, 3 monks and 4, 5 workers. So almost like every corner, we are like corners we are there. And only lunchtime or dinner time we come and we eat and go away, and we are whatever work is there we do. Apart from that, we spend our time in ourselves, with ourselves or in our rooms. Now, 1 or 2 devotees, Swamiji, this school, I mean, college is so beautiful temple, prayer hall, and solitude is there. We would like to come and stay. We said, yes, fine. In holidays you come, so because you can enjoy more solitude. Then they came. Some of them really enjoyed. They made use of the time, meditated, used the library, discussed with us, and they left with all gratefulness. Very few. And most of them, they come, they stay. After a day or two, they feel very difficult. Some of them feel fearful because night, their only lights are there. No one is there to be seen. So in that darkness and loneliness, they feel fearful. And facing themselves is very, very difficult. So they give blame excuses, and in a day or two, they used to go away or run away. Why? Because they can't bear the solitude. Why they can't bear the solitude? Because when there's external silence, you'll be able to hear the noise of your own mind, noise of the emotions and the feelings and the ego or the thoughts, which is very difficult for all of us. So be silent and observe silence. There are two different things. Though we use as a synonym, as a interchangeable, it is not so. When we ask the children, hey, be silent, we say. That means you are forcing the silence on them actually. So be silent means you are forcing someone unwilling, an unwilling person, you are forcing them to be silent. Observe silence is what? It is a discipline accepted by one's own self and try to be in solitude. When I say observe silence, it doesn't mean that whether you talk or don't talk, whether you are with people or you are alone. So trying to be with yourself. I may be in the midst of the people, but how much ever is required, I talk, and rest of the time I am with myself, with my thoughts, with my God, or with myself, or with my particular thinking. This is what I mean, solitude. So man is a social animal. We need people to talk, exchange of feelings, emotions, and all, no doubt. But it is required, it is a necessity, no doubt. But slowly, we have to go beyond that also. We should learn in such a way that in the midst of people, I should be happy. And when there are no one also, I should be happy. Sometimes here they ask, Swamiji, sometimes we see you are alone. Don't you feel boring? Don't you feel boredom? I say, no. Why? When people are there, I'm happy talking and discussing things. And when people are not there, I'm more happy. Why? I can be with myself. I can meditate, or I can eat, sleep, and I can think, and I can read. So good amount of quality amount of time I get it. I'm very happy, I say. So how it is possible? When you raise your mind to the higher things, you got some goal actually, either mundane goal or spiritual goal. And you got something to achieve, something to contribute, something to get it. When you are obsessed with the higher ideas, ideals, thoughts, goals, then you don't feel boredom, you don't feel lonely. Why? Because you are always obsessed with reaching your targets, goals, and etc., then solitude will be the great blessing. And Sri Ramakrishna says that once in a while, either whomever so, either householder or a bachelor or a monk, once in a while, we should go to solitude, either in the forest or retreat centers, or basically be there, try to spend some time in contemplation, study, and do self-evaluation, self-examination. Who am I? The nature of God, meditation, prayers, and what I'm thinking, what I want, and how can I get it, and whether I'm able to go in that particular way or not. Self-examination, self-evaluation we have to do so that it makes our life better actually. Because when we are in the work and when the work life and all, sometimes we are so busy, we can't think actually what I'm doing, what I'm not doing. So when you get away from this hustle bustle of life and you start thinking what I am doing, why I am doing, whether is it required or not, yes, no, then definitely that gives a lot of answers for us. Sometimes it can be difficult for us to face it, but that gives a right answer, right perspectives. It will help us to correct our mistakes, correct our thinking, and shaping our life. That's why one has to practice solitude. This is also one of the spiritual practice. So one should be busy with the higher goals, meditation and aspirations and achieving the goals and whatever. Then what happens? Then solitude becomes the great boon for all of us. I mean, there's a beautiful, what do you say, a statement in Avaduta Gita. Avaduta Gita says that when there are so many people, when few people are quite a few people, what is there? Obviously, there will be a lot of discussions, talks, and there can be exchange of hot words and quarrels or whatever. Sometimes good, sometimes bad or whatever. You can't avoid it most of the time. And when there are only two people, again, there will be gossip, how much ever so. And when you are alone, whom to gossip, with whom to talk, then you are with yourself, left with your own self, either with God or with your mind. Then if you can handle that, you can be the master of oneself. So better seek the solitude. Avaduta Gita says. So we should seek solitude. Now the problem comes, fair enough, all these things, Swamiji, but we feel difficulty to have a solitude. Or it is difficult to stay alone. Why? Because as I said, we cannot face our own mind. We cannot face our own thoughts, feelings, desires, goals, or whatever. That's where we are fearful. That's the one side. The other is the ego. One's own our egos, so-called unripened ego, pseudo ego, is a mixture of feelings, our own feelings, thoughts, and our memories actually. So that sometimes it is disturbing, sometimes it is encouraging, and sometimes it is disturbing. So it is facing them is very difficult. That is the reason we will have a difficulty. And mind is like a creeper, we have to understand. So the creeper cannot sustain of itself. It needs some support, either a wall or a pole or whatever, some support basically. So similarly, mind needs support. So either you can give a people, or you can give some thoughts, or you can give some desires or an actions as a support. People, if they don't have anything, they keep on sipping a coffee or tea. Why? Because they're made an habit. They are people, if they feel, if they do nothing to do, and they simply keep on seeing a TV and keep phoning the people and saying hello, hello, because they cannot keep quiet. So engaging the mind in the contributory actions, positive actions is very, very important. For that, we need to practice solitude. So once you solitude, you'll be able to face your mind, you'll be able to understand your mind, which will help us to shape your thought process, shape your one's own personality. That's why Ramana Maharshi says, solitude is in the mind. People can experience the solitude in the midst of the people. If even you are living in the very busiest city with hundreds of people, in the midst of the people, one can experience the solitude. And someone has gone to the forest. Even there also, he may not be able to experience the solitude, because now internet is available everywhere. Sometimes I see people, they go to forest, they're staying in maybe in a forest house, and they take a photo, selfies, upload in the social media, and make a phone calls, video calls. You see how beautiful and all. They went for 2 days, and more than a day or half a day, they were busy in uploading the videos, showing the people and all, and rest of them eating, sleeping, and having a merrymaking. So like that, people can be intensely busy going in the forest, and people are living in the busiest city, and they can experience the solitude. The solitude is in the mind. Of course, it takes for a trained mind, for the prepared mind, this is a true thing. Because I've seen when we go to Himalayas, I've seen in Uttarakashi, Haridwar and all, I've seen people there also shouting, screaming, merrymaking and all. So generally, you are supposed to go to Himalayas for what? You are supposed to meditate and you are supposed to have a reflective thinking, calm your mind. But they're also going jumping and having all type of nonsense or whatever. So because you are carrying the same mind to Himalayas, and you are spoiling the Himalaya, the beautiful atmosphere of Himalayas also. And whereas someone may be in busiest city, he may be trying to meditate and trying to do self-contemplative thinking. So everything is in the mind. So we have to shape on the mind. We have to regulate the mind. For that, we need a spiritual practices. And to understand oneself, we need solitude. Once in a while, we have to come away from our all our duties, responsibilities, forget about the nature, forget about the world, forget about everyone except you, and you start thinking, what do I want, whether I'm able to do it or not, or whatever. Now, once you do in this all these things, once you prepare your mind, what happens? So the 34th spiritual practice, Shankaracharya is telling very beautifully, Paratare Cheta Samadhiyatam. Fix your mind in the Supreme Self, in the consciousness. Once you have experienced the solitude, once you have controlled your mind and sense organs with that prepared mind, then if you start practicing meditation, what happens? Your mind gets stabilized, established in the meditation. Now imagine if you can do for 144 seconds, if you can concentrate on one object, maybe either flower or a sky or a water or a god or anyone, just for 144 seconds without a second thought, that means you are established in meditation, according to Patanjali. 144 seconds, if you can have it with single thought, then you are established in meditation. You are a master of meditation. Now, very well, we can imagine we have not actually. When you hear, Samjay, 144 seconds is not a difficult thing, Samjay. I think we can do. We think that, but if you make yourself maybe put on what you say, stop watch, and if you start meditating and yourself, you can understand 144 seconds, a single thought will not be able to retain in our mind. Our mind is highly volatile, highly restless. Because of that, what is happening? Energy is getting dissipated always. For yogis, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours sleep is enough. For us, we need 6 to 8 hours. Why? Because our mind is restless. Because of that, lot of mental energy, prana shakti, we say, it is getting dissipated, getting wasted. The more and more your mind gets concentrated, the loss of energy is wasted, first point, and it becomes concentrated, then you can achieve anything and everything. For that, we have to be alert. Mindfulness is very, very important. Swami Yatishwaranji, the monk, the senior monk, was the knower of Brahman in the Ramakrishna order. He used to say, if you want to meditate for half an hour, you have to prepare your mind for 23 and half an hours. Because the whole day you are left your mind free and it is gone talking and thinking rubbish all. And now you want to sit and meditate and your mind wants to be concentrated. How it is possible? It is not possible. That's why spiritual life is a continuous life. That doesn't mean that you should not do anything mundane life or mundane activities, seeing TV, talking with people, chatting us. You can do all of them, no doubt, but be aware of it and be mindful of it. Whatever is required, how much ever is required, do and keep on progressing. Then what happens? The meditation becomes possible. So fix your mind in the spiritual life. So we have to prepare our body and mind for meditation. Without proper preparation, if you go for meditation, there will be accident. Either you will doze off, or in the name of meditation, you will do the world tour, or it becomes a Herculean task. After some days, meditation is not possible for me. We will come to conclusion and we will leave. I mean, if you're not careful, what happens? There is a very interesting joke, actually. Even I didn't think, it was beyond imagination. One day, one Sunday evening, we have meditation classes here after Vespers. There was a guided meditation, and I do different type of meditations. That particular week, I was guiding them with a devotional meditation. So in the devotional meditation, Then I said, you pray for everyone, pray for your kith and kin, pray for your family people, our dear ones, and everyone, and yourself, and feel that there's a beautiful sea or ocean there, God, and you try to worship Him mentally with flowers, fruits, sweets, and meditate on it. Like these steps I gave, and they all, 15-20 minutes done. Then afterwards, it was followed with supper. And while supper, I was talking. I asked some 2, 3 new devotees over there. I asked, what was your feeling and experience during meditation? They said, Swamiji, nice it was because it was a good experience. But unfortunately, I went to market. My mind went to market. Initially, I didn't understand. What do you mean by this? I said, can you, explain me a bit, but bit. I didn't understand what you mean by that. He said, Swamiji, when you asked us to pray for everyone, pray for the welfare of every being, fair enough, we did it. And for our family, people, and friends, we did it. And for oneself, we did more intensely. And when you said there's a beautiful ocean thing, and sunrise or sunset, we thought, mind became calm. The moment when you said that, imagine the God with form and worship Him with flowers, then we need flowers. Then to bring a flowers, I went to market. There I met a friend. And I met a friend. That's how we started talking. And from there, we went to somewhere else. Then the whole meditation got over. Now you see the mind, how it gets associated with the ideas. You need not to go and bring the flowers to the market. It is mentally you imagine rose flower or lotus flower, jasmine or daffodils, marigold, and offer at the feet. There's a common sense. But because of the carelessness, because the mind was not alert, they were not alert. When I asked them to offer the flowers at the feet of God, which is ridiculous sometimes, probably, but to bring flowers, they went to market and they met some person, some friend, and they talked and they went somewhere and the whole meditation went away. So if we are not alert, we might sit for 15, 20 minutes or 30 minutes of meditation. Our mind can go anywhere and other way. So we have to be alert. If you want to have a quality of meditation, we have to be alert. And we have to prepare our body and mind before sitting for meditation. You may do 10 hours, 10 minutes or 20 minutes of meditation. For that, good amount of practice, good amount of preparation is very, very necessary. This has been told beautifully by Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. In the 6th chapter, Atma Sanyama Yoga. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman tektva sarvana sheshatah manasai vendriyani, manasai vendriya gramam viniyamya samantatah. Shanai shanai ruparamet buddhya dutugrihitaya atma samstam manakrutva nakinchidapi chintayet. The meaning goes like this. Having abandoned all desires born of the egocentric will, having restrained the group of senses with mind from all the sides, one should attain silence or quietude slowly by the intellect, held firmly, and then fixing the mind in the Atman. He should not think of anything else at all. Now here, see, there are step-by-step process. First step, the Krishna is telling, Sankalpa Prabhavan Kama, having relinquished, abandoning all type of desires. Swamiji, you are a monk, you can say that, but we are householders. It is difficult if you feel, yes. I can understand that. But at least at the given point of time, at least for meditation, you should think that I need God and God alone. I need self and self alone. I don't need anything else. At least at that given point of time, I should not think anything else except God or the self or the divine or divinity, and one should practice meditation. Having abandoned all desires and restrain the group of senses, trying to control the senses, having the control over the senses from all sides, and one should quieten the mind slowly, step by step, and with the intellect, firm intellect. Means with the mindfulness, with the consciousness. Now here he is telling slowly and slowly. Why? Because all of a sudden, when I sit for meditation, all of a sudden in a day, it is not possible. So step by step, with a continuous practice, with a perseverance, these things are possible, are attainable. And say, for in 1 minute, thousands of thoughts were coming. Then by continuous practice, I might reduce to 1,000 thoughts or 10,000 thoughts. Then I'm practicing meditation for a few days, maybe 9,000, 8,000, 7,000, 5,000, 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, 100, 50, 30, 25, 2, 1. Like that it comes. Step by step, we have to go. Means we have to keep on practicing with that alertness and with that consciousness and with the mindfulness. These things are possible. And fixing the mind on the Atman, on the God, is very, very important. As I said, mind is a creeper. It needs some support. So we should take something as an object. Either you can take a god, or if you don't believe in a god or in a devotional meditation, you can start taking as a flower or a mountain or a sky, maybe as a flower. So we should take some object as a meditation, for the object of meditation, and we should start practicing with mindfulness. By doing this, what happens? Your mind gets concentrated, your mind becomes calm, your mind becomes quiet. Just like when the water becomes calm, what happens? You'll be able to see the surface of that, bottom of the water, bottom of the well, bottom of the river, or bottom of the, pond, basically of the water body. So similarly, when the mind becomes calm, then it becomes more clear for you what to do and what not to do, why to do, how to do, when to do, etc. It becomes more and more clear. First point. Second is when the mind becomes calm, that means it is more regulated. You can achieve things faster. With a calm mind, with a concentrated mind, if you read something for 1 or 2 times, you'll be able to grasp it better. But with a distracted mind, with a disturbed mind, even if you read 5 or 10 times, the same subject or same chapter, you may not grasp it completely. And similarly, for an example, our work also, work becomes better. I keep on giving this example sometimes, because when the organizers, they call for a function, first they send a message, Swamiji, we would like to call an event. Can we talk? I said, fine. Then I give a time, they call, and they say that that event is there, so will you be able to come? Or fine. Then after some days, they will send one more message. Swamiji, can you give our biodata or photo or whatever? Okay. Then afterwards, Swamiji, how much you want to talk, or what you want to talk, or when you want to talk, or something they'll ask. Then afterwards, Swamiji, would you like to have snacks or whatever? Like this 5 or 6 or 7, 8 times, they will either the phone or the message. Now you see, every time they're with us one thing, they're thinking and they're coming back. So they're wasting their time and they're wasting my time also. Instead of that, they could have made a questions, and when they call, and what about your traveling or transportation, and what about your food restrictions, and what about the speech, time, subject, all these things, more or less, if not all, most of things they could have covered, and they could have saved their time and saved my time. But most of the time, though how much ever I tell, they don't, they can't do it. Why? Because there is no organized mind, there is no prepared mind. The meditation helps us. Even in the mundane affairs, you can be a better person, because your thinking will be very clear and decision making will become very much better. Why? Because you'll be able to understand what it is, what it is not, and etc. Judgment becomes better, decision making becomes better, understanding or thinking will become clear, and rational thinking becomes much and more better. And that will not be subjective thinking, it will be objective thinking. Subjective thinking is mind is colored actually, because we are too judgmental, basically, I used to say. But when it becomes objective thinking, we try to understand things as it is. We try to understand the people as it is. We try to understand the situations as it is. But most of the times our minds are colored. With the meditation, it becomes decolored or less colored, basically. And beautifully, the Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita, Vyavasayatmika buddhi. Vyavasayatmika buddhi means a clarity in thinking, or a strong mind, or a resolute mind, basically. So that is possible through the meditation. And probably one more example I can give is lamp. Now, lamp in the normal wind, there is no gust of wind or whatever. So the lamp is nicely, the lamp light is nice. Now there is a wind. Then what happens? It becomes shaky. And if it's too much, then lamp goes off. So similarly, with so many thoughts, mind is getting disturbed. Or just like the lamp light is getting wavering, and our mind is also wavering, and we cannot decide what to do and what not to do. And if there is less wind, and oxygen is required, no doubt, but when the less wind, the lamp is steady. Similarly, mind can be steady. And for that, one has to be alert. Here only, if you remember Kathopanishad, Uttishtata, Jagrata, Prapya Varan Nibodhata. Arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. Swami Vivekananda's often quoted statement, arise, that is physical awakening. Awake, I mean, arise is first. Uttishtata, getting a physical awakening here. It's getting up, not sleeping physically. Awake is what? Mental awakening, intellectual awakening. Intellectual awakening is very, very required. We have to raise ourselves to the higher things, higher ideas, positive ideas, better ideas. A man with the positive ideas and exposed to higher ideas, his life and a common person's life will be completely different. Situations may not be different. I mean, the external surroundings are not different, but his quality of life, his thinking and his achievements will be completely different. That's what we mean awakening. Oh, jagrata, jagrata. And Swami Adbhutanji tells very nicely, think that or deepen your thinking during meditation that you and your God alone exist. I and my God, my Ishtadevata alone exist and no one else in this world. That may be imagination in the beginning. It may be pseudo thinking at the beginning, no doubt. But if you intensify the thinking, then what happens? Mind becomes fixed in the God. Mind becomes fixed in the object. So that is a one step for the part of spiritual practice. Now, Purnatma Susamikshatam means experience the self everywhere. Now, this is for a common person, for the spiritual aspirant, this is the spiritual practice. Try to see, try to experience the God or the self everywhere. Now, for the Siddha, for the enlightened person, for the awakened, self-awakened person, it is a fact. It is a reality for him. Now, for us, it is a practice, and for him, it is a fact. Now, for an example, in the life of Sri Ramakrishna, in the life of Vivekananda, for them, it was a fact. For example, there's a very funny incident. Swami Vivekananda in the US, he was there. And one particular time, he was a guest of a particular lady. She comes from a good family, maybe noble or aristocratic family or whatever. She was a good lady and she was looking after Swami very well. And she was a quite hospitable lady. But she had only one interesting nature, that whomever she houses a good person or a noble person or the celebrity, somehow she wants to find out what mistake or what drawback is there in him. That was her nature, basically. And now she has housed Swami Vivekananda. She also wants to see what drawback is there in Swami Vivekananda. So very minutely she is observing his all. She is attending his talks, and she's also from dawn to dusk as much as possible. She's minutely she's observing whether can I get some defect from him or drawback. And Swami Vivekananda is giving lectures on Vedanta. I am not the body and I am not the mind, I am not the self, and we are divine and we are not the sinners, etc. And she's really mesmerized and she was really moved by all that. But at corner of her mind, because of her nature, she wanted to see, Swami tells all this Vedanta philosophy nice, whether he's able to put into practice or whether he's deviated himself from this. She was go on seeing. One fine day, there was a lecture, and before going lecture, Swami Vivekananda was standing in front of mirror. Just like we go before any events, and most of us, we stand and we make up ourselves and maybe we put some cream or some things and whether we look okay, everything and all. Though there's no wrong in it, but her intention is, now the Swami is telling always I am Brahman or the self and etc. And this fellow is standing in front of mirror and is making himself looking all right. That means he has got the body notion, or he wants to show that he's good or handsome or whatever. She's thinking behind the door, actually, behind the door. And Swami Vivekananda is not able to see her even because she's behind him. But instantly, because of his yogic power, Swami Vivekananda said, "Oh, my dear lady, now I am supposed to go and give a talk. For that, my mind has to be beat down at least. But unfortunately, I am unable to feel or experience that I have got a body. So I'm standing in front of the mirror and I'm able to see my own body's reflection, and I am trying to convince my mind, look, you have got a body, look, you have got a body, look, you have got a body." Now you see, we have got a body, there is nothing strange for us. I am self and we are self is strange for us, actually. that is a very far truth, though it is the nearest truth, but for us, as of now, it is a very far truth. We have to think, we have to think, we have to think, and we have to reach. But for Swami Vivekananda, it was the other side. For him, I am the self is the ultimate, I mean, it is the nearest to truth for him that is available for him. But I have got a body is very difficult for him. So in front of mirror, he's standing and he's telling his mind that you have a body, you have a body, you have a body. And he tells her, so I am trying to convince my mind that you have got a body, don't, I mean, you have got a body, so that I can come down, so that I can go and give a talk. She felt ashamed, she felt, and I mean, apologized in front of Swami Vivekananda. So for Swami Vivekananda and for Sri Ramakrishna and all, for them, the God or the self, the divinity was quite real. And other things were just mithya. I mean, what do you say? It was an appearance. For us, the world is real and this body is so real, and the God or the self is an appearance or the vague reality. Anyhow, now, by spiritual practices, by meditation, by the purity of the mind, one can attain the state where we can experience the God everywhere. We can experience the God in everything. We can experience the self everywhere. We can experience the self in everything. That is the ultimate goal of us, as Vedanta puts it. But we have to understand. Now, obviously, one question may come for us, Swamiji, how do you say that God exists everywhere? Or God is in everywhere? Or divinity is in everywhere? Okay, for an example, now there's a wooden table. In the wooden table also God or divinity is there? Yes. How? Okay, wooden table, as you said, wooden table, what it is? It is a wooden table. No, you go a bit deep, good deep. Yeah, it is a piece of wood. Piece of wood has been cut in a particular shape and in a particular way. It has got a functional, I mean, notion or reality, no doubt. So it is a piece of wood, basically. Okay. So from wooden table, from table we went to wood. It's a piece of wood. Then I ask, or we ask, till go inside. Wood is fine. Do you go molecules? Because when you put a microscope and we see molecules, then we go bit deep, then we see atoms, go protons, neutrons, electrons, and all. Then you go bit, then it is like just the condensified matter of, the condensified form of energy is what matter. Today, science is accepting today. So the energy has been condensed, which is called matter. Okay, energy science has come till then. So prana, when I ask you to go still down, then you say that it is what tanmatras from the Vedantic perspective, or panchabhutas. Then you go deep, it called tanmatras. When you go deep, or when you go still down deep, then we say consciousness. But because of these five sense organs of knowledge, our understanding and our experience of the world is being narrowed down. All our knowledge we are getting from these five sense organs of knowledge, mostly, no doubt, wonderful. But at the same time, these five sense organs of knowledge is also limiting our knowledge field. So the moment when we go beyond that, we'll be able to understand the reality differently. So because of the ignorance or because of the limited understanding, we are not able to understand. So the more and more your mind becomes calm and the more and more mind becomes pure, you'll be able to experience the reality. That the reality, there is everywhere, there is a reality. I mean, divinity, or the devotee calls God, and the gnani, the knowledgeable, the self-realized person, he says that the self or the divinity or consciousness is everywhere. And this is the experience of all the great people, either Ramakrishna or Vivekananda or Buddha or Ramana Maharshi or Jesus Christ or Mahavira, all the great people, they experienced either the God or the self everywhere. That is the thing which to be achieved. For that, all our these spiritual practices and all of this gymnastics and all this, what do you say, struggling the mind with the mind, struggling with the controlling the senses, controlling the mind, controlling the desires, ethical life, moral life, and trying to be good and going there. All this thing, what? Understanding who am I and manifesting the reality of divinity is what the real ultimate goal. For that, we have to study the scriptures and we have to try to put into these ideas and thoughts in the life. We have to implement it so that we'll be able to experience the divinity all times. May God bless all of us so that we shall experience the divinity as early as possible. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Yeah, any questions?
Pranam Maharajji, this is Rajarshi.
Yeah,
Uh,
Rajashi.
uh, Maharajji, I have one question. As you said that the solitude is in mind,
Mhm.
and we have to prepare our mind before we before we meditate. So
Mhm.
regarding mind, like one practical problem that I experience, or I think it is because of my samaskaras which I've acquired over ages, is that mind throws in lot of thoughts. Let's say when I am meeting someone or when I'm looking at something, there are some unwanted thoughts which always come in. One part of my mind says that those thoughts are shameful. I do not want those thoughts to come in, but then there is an involuntary bubbling of thoughts which come in. So when such thoughts come in, I'm ashamed. But so should I tell myself that, okay, this is my mind and this is separate from me, therefore I should not worry about it? Or should I really fight with my mind and should I try to suppress it?
Yes.
How should I deal with the involuntary
Yes.
behavior of mind?
For this, yoga tells very beautifully, technically in Patanjali Yoga, there is called Pratipaksha Bhavana. The spiritual practice is considered told as Pratipaksha Bhavana. Say for an example, you are very angry. Your mind is getting angry thoughts. Then maybe with the love, with the patience and with the love and with the positive thoughts, you can quieten your mind. So similarly, now say for an example, involuntarily you are getting some bad thoughts. Now, because of we have got a body and mind, because of that, you can't avoid them. It comes, no doubt. Now, what to do at that time? So I think probably I thought about this, but I didn't tell today. Nip at the bud. Simply, I will give an example. Doctor has told me because you have got some problem with the liver, so it is better not to eat the chocolate. Or maybe once in a while, not regularly at least, because I was eating chocolate every day. I'm giving an example. No, doctor has told me because you got a liver problem or there is some health issue, so you are not supposed to eat regularly chocolate. Fine. But because of the habit or because of samskara or because of something, now suddenly I got a desire to eat a chocolate. Now, just a desire is nothing but a thought. Now, a thought arose in my mind saying that I would like to eat a chocolate. The moment if you can be alert and nip at it, no, I cannot eat chocolate, I'm not supposed to eat chocolate, no. Saying that if you nip at the bird, that is much more easier. That's where mindfulness alertness is required. But if not, then your mind, the thought, along with the thought, your imagination, your own will or your own imagination gets attached to that, then the desire becomes amplified, it becomes strong. Then you feel, oh, preventing myself with eating chocolate is a Heraclean task, Swamiji. You don't understand how much problem I have got. Why? Because your own mind, your own imagination, your own will joined with that thought actually. Desire is just a thought. But with that, your own imagination, your own will got joined and it became a Heraclean task. So first and foremost, if you can possible, nip at the bud. When something is coming saying no, just for an example, some wicked person is trying to come to your house, to your room, you say no, you will stop it at the door itself. So similarly, at the beginning itself, if you stop it at the bottom level, then it is much easier. Now, it's all fine, easy to say, but difficult to practice. Sometimes maybe, sometimes may not be what to do. Then here are three approaches you can take. One, if you are a very devotional mindset, you are a devotee and your devotional mindset, then you start praying to God. Oh God, please remove this type of desires, this type of thoughts. Let me be pure. Let me be your son. Let me be your devoted son or whatever. By praying, this can be removed. This is one approach. The other approach is, okay, I am rational. I'm not devotional in mindset. I'm rational more, or rather intellectual person. I would like to. So it is my approach. If you say that, then you start thinking, as you said. So Vedantic approach that I'm the self, and there are so many thoughts. Like there are so many people coming and going. Or you are traveling from your house to college. Say you are going by a public transport, you are sitting in the bus or in the train, and there are so many people sitting and they're talking, chatting, and doing something and all. You might have seen so many people, but you are not really moved. You are not really bothered about them because there is no connection. So similarly, so many thoughts comes and goes in your mind as if like you be the onlooker, sakshi, witness, and you witness that thought. Okay, a thought came, eating a chocolate thought came. Oh, it's a thought. You leave it. You don't get attached to it. You don't put your imagination to that. Then it comes and it goes, and it becomes subsides. The moment you become alert about it, you become aware of it, it subsides actually. It loses its power. So this is the Gnani approach or intellectual approach. This is the second thing. So either of you can do it. And third thing is being busy yourself with the positive thoughts always. You are busy with so much with the positive thoughts, constructive thoughts, you become more and more busy in the positive, constructive thoughts, pure thoughts, more and more, so much so that you don't have a time to think anything else. So, I mean, I don't say that completely it gets nullified, but it gets reduced, I wish to say. So 1 or 2 or 3 are contextually or probably situations, either you can take any help or whichever is more suitable to you, you can take probably the approach and you can try to control your mind or the thoughts.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.